longer reason why. On each try. Another day, another time. Till the day I die. Hey, thanks for the prime, Jelly Enjoyer. Get to work on time. Hey, yo, hey, yo, hey, yo. Make sure this is all good, all set up. Welcome to the Atrioc broadcast, March 11th, 2025. The boys are back. The ads are back. Mac Phantom's back with a 5-month sub. Jelly Enjoyer's back with a 16. Air George with a 31. Fummy with the 11. Is Lemet with the 19. Your buddy Lukey with a 53. Sheesh, thank you very much. I put this in the title podcast. Also, hats. Hey, Yeti, could you add a command if you're here? For hats to failedcodes.co or merch, I guess. I mean, that already exists. Merch. Put merch there. I'll change it. Blue hats like these are available today in failedcodes.com. Hey, oh, it's already there. Glorious Esteban, thank you for the prime. Juicy Chewy, thank you for the 23. Almost 2 years. Thank you very much. Very kind of you. Today, I got a big Marketing Monday for you. Targeting Tuesday on a Tuesday. Never late. A targeter always arrives. I can't do it. Wait. A targeter is never late. He always arrives in exactly what he means to. Okay? That's a quote I just invented right now. If you think about it, you're 6 days early. Think about it like that. Finally, someone in chat with a good attitude towards life. Yes, in a way, I'm not late. I'm 6 days early. And that's powerful. And I'm not as old as Gandalf. Thank you for the 23 months, Noah for Pope. Hey, guys, let me put a timer up. Let's get that non-cosmetic timer right on the screen so that we may be reminded of our duty. That's not Crypto Reserve. It's Marketing Monday starts here. Bada boom, 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 boom. Yes, dude. Get that timer going. Sheesh. Did you and Tolkien go to school together, or were you his teacher? Those are my two options. I was actually his grandfather, if you must know. If you must know. And I gave him a lot of wisdom that he used in his books. He really credits almost all of it to me. We should tariff foreign Twitch subs. Who's with me? I guess it would be my honor and my privilege to help put some money in the coffers of this great nation by paying the tariff on anybody that subs to my channel. Yeah, that way we can, I guess, hurt the other countries more than it hurts me, the American producer. I'll just pass along the cost, to be honest. Hey, Kenny G, thank you for the 8 months. Have been busy doing school, work, and Ramadan. Salam alaikum. Well, I was supposed to say something, right? You say Assalamu alaikum, I'm supposed to say something back, but I forget what it is. But I am, inshallah. Yeah, I said it. I'm based, all right? We're good. We're connected. Wakanda forever. Just say it right back at you. Here's looking out, Chief. Welcome back, Big A. Hope your month off was... I have a month off. I had 1 day off. I'm always off Sundays. I was live Saturday, and I was off Monday. I didn't take off a month, you psycho. I was live on Saturday. It is not that much gone. And I have had a lot going on lately, you know? God, a streamer's life is never done. There's just so much to do. No, honestly, I was ready to do this yesterday, and then so much happened. I felt like the presentation would be out of date if I didn't add fucking 50 more slides, which I pretty much had to do. Also, the Lakers lost, which is fucked up, to the fucking Nets. Nets are like on a 9-game losing streak, then beat the Lakers. It's the refs! I'm finally getting it. Dude, yesterday, watching that, sorry to go ball mode for a second, but yesterday was the first time in my entire life that I unironically crashed out at the refs. I've always made fun of it my whole life. I've been like, oh, it's the refs. Yesterday was the first time in my life I was like, these fucking refs, dude. It was the first time I meant it. I'm just becoming a fucking sports guy. It's insane. Yeah, I hated it. I was so mad. I was so mauled and bald. Year of kindness. You don't include refs in the year of kindness, right? That doesn't seem fair. Are you going to be on Killer Whales? I'm not necessarily going to be on it. It has to get a season 3 for even consider that, but I am going to watch season 2 of Killer Whales pretty soon. I think it comes out real soon, maybe April. And that'll be fun with chat. The real challenge for me is to not lose my ability to really rip into it because the producer reached out to me and was really nice. Like, my reaction to that show is just constantly ripping on it. But now the guy's so nice, I'm going to try and say one nice thing. My dad works for Tubi. I will get you to own the show. I'm almost positive that's not how it works. I'll say 99.999% sure that's not how it works. With regards to ownership, with regards to publishing, with regards to your dad's ability to give it to me. But that 0.1%, I'll take my chances. Please, thank you. Tell your dad thank you. I got my own show. Wow, what a big deal. Searching there's a chance? There's always a chance. How the hell are you guys? Man, it seems like we've only been gone for 2 days, but in those 2 days, so much has happened. Specifically, the market is really waking up to the fact that consumer spending is slowing. Our government whipsaws between wildly differing strategies by the day. There's no consistency. Our allies are slowly but surely trying to build supply chains outside and around us. Stock market money is fleeing for Europe, which is seeing stock market growth after years of being Euro poors. And all of that's combining to a really tumultuous market, specifically with regards to people's 401ks. People's 401ks are all in the S&P 500, NASDAQ, Dow Jones. All those are down. People are a little bit worried. It's so funny. I talk about this all the time. Can I show you something? This is something I really, truly believe in, and it's not funny, but it is, I don't know. It's something to see happen in real life. It is, I guess, a little bit satisfying, even though I know it's bad. And it's this. Okay, I've talked about this all the time. I've talked about this a million times. There's like this pyramid, okay, called a pyramid scheme of financial knowledge, you could say. And at the bottom is like just people that buy meme stocks, you know? Meme stocks, crypto shills, pump fund, GME, you know, total horseshit, total gamblers. And then right above this, only one step above this, is the people that say, you should dollar cost average at all times. I'm a dollar cost average guy. There's no way. Time in the market beats timing the market. I've got it all figured out. They just repeat the exact same 4 phrases that they don't even know the origin or meaning of, with no exceptions. And again, for the average person, this is a fine spot to be, especially for the last 80 years. Okay? I totally get it. But one thing I've mentioned over and over is that these people are always so confident when the market is returning 10, 20% a year. When the S&P's up fucking 10, 20% every year. It's so easy to be like, yeah, time in the market. Always buy the dip. Always, everything's is steady and good. But emotionally, historically, these people always start getting nervous when things go down. And suddenly, when they, when they see their savings plummeting 10, 15, 20%, and they also might have job uncertainty, and they suddenly start losing the very phrases they were so rock solid on. So I'm just, if you go to like our Bogleheads or our investing or our stocks, it's all people like making these exact same posts like, hey, I know timing the market and all that, but also I'm getting really nervous. And it's just, of course it's going to happen. Of course it's going to happen because it's happened every time. Every time the people that sound so solid, they're just products of confidence. And especially the S&P 500, man. Listen, yeah, if your retirement account has been buying Tesla as like one of its top 7 holdings for the past 5 years, it's going to be, that alone is going to drag down your performance. Hey, Atrioc, I did one of those random things they tell you on TikTok where I submitted a fake job posting to the CEO of my company, and now I'm project manager on a project I didn't even know existed. I don't understand what you did. You submitted a fake job posting to the CEO of your own company. I don't understand how that works. Wouldn't you just get fired? Are you trying to scam your CEO? I don't understand what, or is it like a way of like saying, hey, here's the job. This is the job I want, sir. Is that, I don't understand what you did. I'll be honest with you. What's it like being the only person in the summer game and Lud not being at the bottom anymore? Well, I've been the only one for a while, I'll be honest with you. Not to toot my own horn, because I'm sure I'll be negative here soon at the rate we're going. But I am the only one. I need to move this camera over to my normal spot. And this over here. We're still at plus 5%. And when the S&P's down 5, that's not bad. But this is steadily decreasing. Was this like 20 before? It's just down to 5, dude. We will be negative here before long. Doug, now in last place, which is shocking given that Ludwig still has down 71% Trump coin. But taking NVIDIA down 20, Ocugen down 22, GE Vernova down 30, Fluorocorp down 30. Yikes. Ocugen will bounce back though. That's a great American company. I always believe in Ocugen. Yeah, I mean, everything's down. I'll have you know that our average pick, I'm pretty sure, our average pick is down 6%. The average pick. And only 18 of the 50 are even positive. That's crazy. You can fit it on one. Who has Tesla? Nobody took Tesla. Although we did, as our first 7 picks, basically take all the rest of the Mag 7, and they're all down. Even Meta, if you can believe it. Anyway, before I get to the Tesla thing at the end of this thing, I want to know what else is going on. You've been watching the new League International First Stand? I haven't. Is it good? At what point do you all cash out to give anything to charity? We cash out at the end of the year. Is it kind of blurry? We cash out on January 10th or something of 2026. At which point there will be $8 left, and we'll give that to a random child. We'll give that to a random kid. Or we'll just invoice a charity. Ask them for money. Because honestly, the real charity would be for streamers. Streamers need the help. We're losing money on this content. Hey, Big A, I watched your full playthrough of Outer Wilds, except for the DLC. I just wanted to thank you for that wonderful experience. As people say, the outer you get, the wilder it gets. They don't say that. They simply don't say that. I've never heard a person say that in my whole life. But I'm glad you liked it. Get ready for the DLC where I have a 3-hour debate over the morality of the main antagonist. I guess not main antagonist, but one of the main characters. At 4 a.m. The prisoner. Yeah, the prisoner. That was peak, dude. That was peak. Oh, big news. Big news, fellows. And that news is that Tucker Carlson can get fucked. Lemonade Stand hit top 10 on Spotify for the debut episode, knocking Tucker Carlson out of the top 10. Yikes! Now, understand these are probably weighted by... They have an algorithm that I assume counts a new viewer higher than a returning viewer. So this will go down. Or maybe it's because we have the exact same viewership 1-to-1. It's everyone that watched Tucker also watched us, but then my mom was +1. And so we edged it out by 1. That's probably it, because we do attract the same demographic. But anyway, yeah, it was cool to see. I already had people, they're like vultures, dude. I had people that haven't texted me in fucking years text me and go, hey, can I help set up sponsorships for, for Lemonade Stand? I was like, bro, I could have used a sponsor. You never talked to me about a sponsor. Thought that was pretty funny. Hey, Big A, question about the crypto reserve. I showed my dad the video about crypto reserve. Disagree with you? You heard this all? Sorry. I have an update about this, by the way, but I'll read your question first. Your question is, you showed your dad the video about crypto reserve, and your dad disagreed with me, okay? You agreed that Solana and others shouldn't be in the reserve, so we agree with you there. But he was adamant that we should have a Bitcoin reserve. He believes that crypto is needlessly attributed with a negative stigma based on scams and the people centered around it rather than crypto itself. Are there reasons other than government corruption that make you opposed to the reserve? Mango typers. Yeah, millions. Listen, I'm not a crypto guy, bro. I have no faith in crypto at all as a true store of value. I think it's all... Matthew McConaughey in Wolf of Wall Street. It's Fugazi. It's what's it? It's it's bullshit, bro. It's bullshit. It's snake oil. The price of Bitcoin directly tracks the price of the NASDAQ. It's a sign of people having a bunch of liquidity and easy money, and the second they don't have it, the price goes down. I don't think it's like a solid, stable reserve currency. But the reason I was most against it was that I thought, and this is based on the tweet, that they were going to use taxpayer money to buy crypto and thus create a reserve. But in fact, I don't have to buy an apartment in Monaco. In fact, we're good. The announcement was pretty bad for crypto heads. The actual announcement, where, by the way, Trump had a very hilarious quote. Where is it? Can someone find the Trump? That's what they say about Bitcoin. You shouldn't sell it, I guess. Who the hell knows? Anyway, the point is, the Bitcoin reserve, as it currently stands, is just going to be anytime the FBI or the police seizes crypto from somebody, They just keep it and they don't sell it. That's all the strategic reserve is amounting to be. As the law stands now, as the executive order stands now, they're not going to actually spend taxpayer money to buy it. So fine. It's like, listen, there's still plenty of grift involved. Number one, who knew about that tweet before it went out, made massive bets, and then capitalized on the short-term spike? I don't know. Why is Justin Sun able to get out of his crimes by spending $75 million on Trump coin? These are all important fraudulent questions, but in terms of the sanctity of my money, in terms of taking my taxpayer dollars and buying crypto, it seems fine. It seems like it's not happening. It seems like a big nothing burger, which is why after what it actually was announced, after a strategic Bitcoin reserve, after this was actually happened and announced, the price tanked because everyone thought it would be like, dumping their bags on the taxpayer once they realized it wasn't happening. Now, the only thing is David Sachs keeps saying no buying initially. So he might try to weasel his way into doing it later. He might try to get it happen. But as it stands right now, they're not doing it. They're not buying it. And then Texas announced a strategic Bitcoin reserve of Texas, and I got a bunch of tweets about that. So I looked into that as well. It turns out that one is entirely volunteer-based. They're not buying any taxpayer money. They're not even collecting any. It's basically like, hey, if you want to donate your Bitcoin to the Texas Strategic Reserve, we'll hold it to build up for tech. It's all like fake pumped. Like people trying to make a headline so they can like pump it, but nothing's actually happening. So honestly, good news. Honestly, because I don't know if you noticed, but that was a particular sticking point for me. I was pretty frustrated with it. I think it's so stupid, and it's nice to hear that at least currently crypto bag holders are not getting the taxpayer to bail them out. So we will see. We will see. We will see. We will see. I always hear the adage that your 401k will have in your lifetime. Is it better to have this happen earlier than happen later in life? Of course. When you get old, you have to pull out of the 401k. You understand? You don't want it to happen when you're about to retire because then you have no money. You want it to happen before it grows. That's I'm sorry, I'm not sure. Year of kindness. But yes, of course, you want to happen earlier. But more importantly, listen, everyone will tell you that the market always goes up over time. And that's so fucking true. Or at least has been for America, right? Let's get real. But the important thing to understand, this is probably a good chart to help doing it, is that if there are large, let's look at 100 years, right? If there's a big crash like 1929, which I'm not saying is happening, but if that happened, your money isn't back to even for 30 years. For 30 years. 30 years is a long fucking time. People always, when they make these arguments about like, yeah, you got time in the market, it's true, but they aren't honest. They're not intellectually honest about how long it can take. Sometimes it can take a long time. Sometimes if you're older, people assume like you buy the dip, it's back in 6 months. It's like, that's been true recently in recent history, but that's not true historically. I mean, like again, the crash in the 70s, again, that's like 1968, 9 to 1993. It's another 30 years, bro. 30 years, peak to trough. So, and also, it relies on you being able to still dollar cost average as it's going down. You have to keep your same job at the same level of income and keep buying the same amount. It means you're not cutting expenses. You know what I'm saying? It's just, there's a lot more nuance to it. People kind of just plug their ears and go, la, 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 I'm always going to be fine. Everything's going to go up 10% a year. It's like, no, historically, that's not been the case. It's only been the case for the past 20 years during a time of like massive money printing. So that's all I want people to understand. I'm not trying to shake you out of your position. I I just want you to know it's going to be emotionally a lot harder than you make it sound right now. Everyone makes it sound so easy when times are good. Have you heard the tragedy of Darth DCA the Wise? Yes. It's not a story the Jedi would tell you, is all I'm saying. It's not a story the Bogleheads would tell you. My dad keeps defending the reserve. I mean, bro, I don't know if you've learned this little bit of advice is arguing with your parents about politics is like usually a waste of fucking time and often pretty, I don't know. If you have that kind of relationship and you can do it cordially, please do. But I've got some uncles I would not want to get cornered on Thanksgiving to talk about the crypto reserve. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I'm totally down to be like, hey, you got your opinion, I got mine. It's fine. You know, it ain't my business to try and fucking yell at you. I think of that for chatters, bro. You understand that, like, me and Stans are such good friends for so many years. In many ways, we're almost the same person, but we disagree on a lot of things. If I'm not going to agree with Stans on political things, then I'm not going to agree with any chatter. You know, it's all different. Everyone's got their own unique slice of life. Stan's MAGA. I'll be honest with you. No, Stan's is the one friend that's too woke. Ludwig's MAGA. AGA and MAGA. Centrist Atrioc is the glue to keep them together. Yeah, exactly. If they're in the same room without me, they fight. I'm not the kind of person who let that shit go. I'll burn every bridge to the ground before I sit up in a Christian table with a fascist. That is your prerogative, Neely K. Everyone's got their own way of doing it. I'm not gonna tell you how to live your life. Do what you gotta do. All right? But I just don't think that changes people's minds. So if that's your goal, then I think you should try a different tactic. If your goal is to send a stronger message, it's fine. Do what you gotta do. But I'm all about changing hearts, changing minds, you know? Can you have a serious political debate on your podcast? I think this week's podcast, Doug and I are going to debate Tesla. Full disclosure. I asked for a devil's advocate, and Doug's a tech guy. He's not exactly Mr. Elon in many respects, but he likes, robo-taxis and stuff. Anyway, I think we have a debate. So I think it'll be an interesting episode. And I'm going to use some of what I'm doing in today's presentation. Do you think I'll lose my retirement? Or the graph always go up into the... As I mentioned, the graph always goes up into the right 10% every year. If you put your money in the S&P 500, you will always make 10% every year without fail. I learned this from Reddit. I learned this from Reddit. It's always true. So you never have to worry. There's never any need for bonds or hedge instruments or precious metals or commodities. All you need to do is put it into the largest equities in America, and every year you make 10%. Atrioc, if I lose the debate, I'm driving my Cybertruck to your house. Into your house? To be clear, I don't see it as a winning and losing debate. I see it as two friends discussing ideas, and I certainly don't want a Cybertruck driven into my house. Because the problem is, if I lose the debate, I can't really drive my Honda Fit into anybody's house. My used 2017 Honda Fit is not gonna, it's not gonna do enough damage. It'll bounce off. It'll crumple. I could. I'm excited to. I'm really considering. If this podcast makes bread, Doug, if this podcast makes some cheddar, if we get Tucker Carlson money, I'm gonna buy a Chinese EV. I'm gonna buy a fucking Xiaomi SU7 refreshed model, and I'm gonna pay the stupid ass 100% tariff, and then blow my shit off smooth, dude. I'm gonna do it for a video. And then I'm going to fucking deduct it on my taxes because it's part of a video. I'm going to do it for a video. But that's only if. Otherwise, I think I won't do it because it makes me so disgusted to pay a 100% tariff. It's crazy. I even thought about cheating the tariff. I was like, what if I go to Mexico, buy it, and drive it up? I found out that's like horrendously illegal. It's like if they catch you doing that, it's like an insane level fine, or possibly jail time. It's like straight up. What if I stream that though? That'd be fire. What if I buy a Chinese EV, but I paint an American flag on the side so nobody can ever guess what I've done? Oh shit! Wait a minute. Did you guys see this incredible message by Papa Wheelie? Well, I never thought about it like that, Papa Wheelie. That's crazy. Anyway, good thing we have some time left on this clock. Hey, Big A, I recently interviewed for IIM Ahmedabad, the highest ranked business school in India with a 0.17 acceptance rate. Interview was just about coming across as a knowledgeable person, and mine went towards nuclear energy, and I threw the book at them and had a long discussion on Germany. They were visibly impressed, and I think I have decent chances, so thanks a lot for that. You ranted about the history of the German Green Party in an Indian business school interview? That's base, dude. Good luck. Godspeed. There's more Green Party drama in Germany right now. Though in this case, they have a lot more of a case. I don't know if I should go into it with a minute left, but I have 3 minutes left. It's about drama. You know, they have this debt break where they're not allowed to spend or borrow money above a certain amount. It's like enshrined to the Constitution. You just can't do it. They need a 2/3 majority to repeal the debt break. And the new government of the CDU and the SPD are trying to force it through the old parliament so they can't get blocked by the AFD and the left, so they can finally spend on military infrastructure, all the things Germany needs. But Greens are blocking it. They're not the only ones blocking it, but they're the major party blocking it, largely because they asked to do this for years and we're also blocked, so they're mad. So they're like kind of out of spite, kind of out of there's like provisions in this new bill that, you know, there's like pork in there. The only thing I think that people don't really understand is if you're going to get a 2/3 majority on anything politically, there's going to be a little bit of pork. There's like kickbacks to restaurant owners in Germany, and like there's like a lot of little things to get certain districts on board. But overall, I mean, the most of the money goes towards remilitarizing Germany, which is kind of desperately needed now with US pulling out of NATO, and rebuilding infrastructure. So I hope they eventually come to a deal because they're going to run out of time. I hope that they're right to be mad because they were blocked and the CDU did go like, we'll never get rid of the debt brake. And now they want to get rid of it. But somebody's got to do it, bro. If they don't come to a deal, then Germany's going to do kind of what France is doing, which is stall around with nothing happening, get worse and worse. And then the AfD gets a big rise. That's politics though, huh? Anyway, remilitarize Germany, you say? Well, here's the thing about Germany. I'm going too deep into it. I'll give them one more minute. Here's the thing about Germany. I've mentioned this before, but German factories are closing at a rapid rate. Germany is essentially deindustrializing. They're losing jobs. The way to keep those factories open is to become the weapons manufacturer of Europe, because Europe doesn't want to buy from America anymore. So if Germany's like, hey, instead of making cars, which we're losing to China on hand over fist, if we start making tanks, planes, guns, bullets, etc., then all of a sudden you can keep those factories open. You can keep the economy rolling. You can, it's like not a bad plan. It could lead to some bad stuff down the line. Who knows? but it's like, it makes sense. So I think for Germany's sake, I hope they come to a deal. But I do think they have to give the Green Party something. I unironically believe that. I think like they can't expect the Green Party to just be like solemn vow, go along with it after they got so battered for it when they had power. I think they got to give them something. But that's politics. What are you going to do? Hopefully it's not, I don't know. I don't know what they want, but something. Unk, you're yapping? Here's the dirty secret. I'm always yapping. When this timer ends and I start it, I'll be yapping about Tesla. Do you understand? It's all yap. Why do you care so much about German politics? You're an American. I care about politics in almost every major G7 nation, except for the UK. Boring! And I read the FT every fucking day, and they go through, it's a European-based publication. And so I get European news is as front page as American there. I read it all. So I'm interested. Also, it's the third biggest economy in the world. Yeah, so it kind of matters. Used to be a big American ally till recently, too. Also, I live there. So I have a particular affinity for it. I have fond memories. And I also, not only did I live there growing up, but I went back there every summer during college. Also, me and Ari, I think, had our first kiss there. So how about that? And now we're married. So how about that? All right, it all adds up. You kissed before marriage? No, we got married here. And then when he said, you like to kiss the bride? I said, yes, but only in Deutschland. And then we got on a plane. We flew to Germany and had our first kiss. W. All right, boys. Am I ready here? Am I ready here? In fact, give me 3 minutes. Let me make sure. I should have used this time to not waffle and make sure I got. Oh my God, dude! I have just realized some pretty. This is a chonker, huh? Yikes. All right, fuck it. We ball. He's doing it just to kill my points. I know it. Yeah, I am. I'm doing it to kill your points. I deeply care about York points. If there's one thing you should know about me, it's that the point economy is something I deeply, deeply care about. I'm constantly thinking about it. I'm constantly planning for it. Every day I wake up and I have a whiteboard over there with all of your individual point totals on it. I'm trying to balance it all, the economy. It's I might have tariffs soon. It's something I really care about. And so it's certainly not because I still want to talk about stuff. And okay. Was there anything else? Do you think it's in Australia's best interest to impose reciprocal tariffs on the U.S.? So far, we're not going to, and it feels like Trump's being an asshole. I can agree. I think the feeling is pretty common that Trump's being an asshole with these tariffs, but it seems like the strategy right now is to do reciprocal tariffs and wait. And then when there's pain on the American side, there's pain on your side too, but when there's pain on the American side, generally, as long as you tell Trump, all right, now we're going to make this graph where you look great, or we're going to, we're going to do something we were already doing. You just offer him some way of getting out of it, then he'll do it. He'll take the deal. And then they go away, but then they go back again. But then the problem is then they go back again. It's unpredictable. So I'm not sure how it all plays out. I'm not sure. My dad wants to watch Marketing Monday, but he's frustrated you keep pushing it back. He needs to go to bed soon because he's old. I can't tell if you made this up or if this is really happening. Some people do watch Marketing Monday with their dads. If so, sir, I'm sorry. It's part of the job. I have to waffle. But because of your demand, sir, I guess we'll jump into it. But only if you do one thing for me. And that is, take a look at the screen. I want your dad to stand up on the couch and do this. Look at the screen. And when he sees himself, say, "Poggies me." Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for Marketing Monday. Thank you for tuning in. Right after this intro. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Marketing Monday. The scenes from around the country are stark. 44 wheels stolen from Teslas in a parking lot in Texas. Superchargers set on fire in Massachusetts. Protesters arrested out front of a Tesla dealership in New York. Mass protests and boycotts in front of a Tesla dealership in Georgia. Vandalism, red paint smeared across a Tesla dealership in Berkeley. Shots fired at a Tesla dealership in Oregon. Swastikas painted on cars, Tesla cars, in Europe. All of these scenes add up to a pretty insane picture of Tesla's current standing. But just a few months ago, we were in an entirely different place. I take you back to December 12th, 2024. Elon Musk, CEO of Tesla, was on top of the world. Wearing his dark MAGA hat, hands up to the crowd, he was feeling incredible. After only a few months earlier tweeting that he is not donating money to either candidate for president, he switched up rather quickly and became a huge supporter of Donald Trump to the tune of around $300 million. And because of that, he was deeply enmeshed in the administration when Donald Trump won the election, thus making him, in the days after the election, $200 billion richer. He was feeling pretty good. By December 12th, about a month after the election, his net worth topped $400 billion, 436 to be precise, which, if you don't know, makes him the richest man in human history. I'm not exaggerating. Mansa Musa, who you might bring up, even with exaggerated, again, we don't even know his actual wealth, but even with the best estimation, had 400 billion. Richer than Mansa Musa. John D. Rockefeller, the first billionaire, had at his peak wealth 1.5% of the US GDP. Insanely wealthy. Insanely, astronomically wealthy. At this day, December 12th, Elon Musk had 1.6. He was richer than every man that has ever lived. There is nobody that is richer than Elon Musk on December 12th. Not even in the fictional world. Forbes puts out a Forbes list called the Fictional 15 and estimates the wealth of fictional characters like Scrooge McDuck. Elon Musk on December 12th had more money than all of these fictional characters combined. More money than Tony Stark, Scrooge McDuck, Bruce Wayne, the Tooth Fairy, Artemis Fowl, and Montgomery Burns combined. It's a level of wealth, again, that is really hard to wrap your mind around. And he was feeling pretty damn good about it. He had the political power, the insider connections, the wealth. All of his companies were up. And in the past 3 months, something of a car crash happened. Tesla stock, almost inexplicably, dropped 50% since December 12th. 50% in 3 months, below where it was before the election. Now, this number is hard to wrap your head around, but Tesla's market cap loss, its valuation lost in this short period, is equivalent to roughly $800 billion. And I want you to try and understand the scale of what that loss is. Tesla's losses since December 18th, 2024 are greater than the entire value of Toyota. It's like if Toyota went to zero. Is that crazy? No, because it's way more than that. It's Toyota plus Ferrari plus Mercedes-Benz plus VW combined, all going to zero. Is that crazy? No, because it's way more than that. Tesla's losses since December 18th are equivalent to Ford, Subaru, Mazda, Toyota, Nissan, Rivian, Honda, Ferrari, Porsche, Mercedes-Benz, Aston Martin, Hyundai, Kia, VW, GM, and BMW combined. It's as if every one of these companies went to zero in 3 months. I am not exaggerating. I'm not upplaying it. This is exactly the amount of market cap lost. And take $10 billion on top of that and light it on fire. It's an astronomical level of loss. Why? In 3 months, how could the fortunes of a company change so quickly? Some people have a very specific answer. It looks like this. Some people have a very specific answer. Specifically this moment.
Thank you. My heart.
But whether that was a Sieg Heil, a Roman salute, or just his heart was going out to you, we don't know. I know what it looks like to me. And I do know that the timing is pretty convenient in that the day that happened was basically the beginning of the losses this year, 100%. But what this presentation is going to talk about is that there is so much more rotten under the hood of this company. There is so much more worth taking a look at business-wise than just the political machinations of Elon Musk. Now, that being said, his reputation is falling and it is taking Tesla with it. We should start by talking about some of the politics, okay? Because there's no doubt about it. His reputation, oh wait, what the hell? Oh, right here, sorry. His reputation, dude, oh my God, fix it. There it is, matters. His reputation matters. And it's a bit of a stark situation. Play on words intended, because 7 years ago, it was widely accepted that Elon Musk was the real life Tony Stark. He was the real life Iron Man. I had one of my editors collect some clips from around this time.
People have called you the real Tony Stark.
How are you?
Congratulations on the promotion.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Those Merlin engines are fantastic.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, good idea for an electric jet.
You do?
Yeah.
Then we'll make it work.
You gotta be kidding me.
Sorry?
You're Elon Musk.
I am?
So let's talk about the Tesla. I have a Tesla.
Yeah.
Okay, and I love it. I love it.
Good luck, Machete.
Good night, Plummeting.
Elon Musk.
Elon Musk?
Yeah.
Tesla Elon Musk?
Yeah.
Wow.
Are you sincerely trying to save the world?
Well, I'm trying to do good things, yeah. I mean.
But you're trying to do good things and you're a billionaire. I mean,
Yeah.
that seems a little bit like either superhero or supervillain. You have to choose one.
It's funny, it kind of cuts off, but he paused for a long time after that question. He paused for a long time. In 2018, Jay Schlatt tweeted, if America's going to get another billionaire president, can it at least be Elon Musk next time? I mean, his reputation was, for all intents and purposes, solid gold globally. And then a lot of things happened. I think most of you are well aware of these things. I don't need to go too much detail, but a quick recap between 2018 and now. He called a Thai cave rescuer a pedophile for not using his submarine. He said he was going to take Tesla private at $420 a share and funding was secured. So everybody pumped the stock to $420. Then he said, oops, I don't actually have the funding. Losing investors $12 billion, getting his Twitter account frozen briefly by the SEC. He said that COVID would have 0 new cases in America by the end of April. He said his pronouns are prosecute Fauci. He said in 2021 he preferred to stay out of politics, then got deeply into politics, then said Trump would be too old to be president. He'd be 82, he's too old, and then got super in with Trump. He said it's going to be the most awesome presidency of all time, the most fun president of all time. He said he wanted to buy Tesla, Twitter as a joke, and then tried to back out, and then was forced by a court to do it, and then started tweeting nonstop every single day. Then once he owned Twitter, he said, I'll abide by a poll for everything that I do, including I'll step down if I lose this poll. Then he lost the poll, then stopped doing polls. And perhaps most damningly for us gamers, he was caught and eventually admitted to boosting in Path of Exile and Diablo 4. Now, there's many, many more things in there. I'm just giving you a brief example of why his reputation might have taken a hit over the past 4-ish years, including the fact that Jay Schlatt 5 hours ago tweeted, I take it back, about his old tweet. Now, your opinion on each of these individual instances can vary, but the business case for it is pretty damning. There's been a backlash. Major brand worries. How toxic is Elon Musk's behavior for Tesla? Again, he's so deeply intertwined with the brand of Tesla in consumers' minds. They can't really separate Tesla and Elon Musk. It's creating a reputational problem for the brand, leading to declining sales and damage to Tesla globally. In every country other than China, Tesla's reputation has dropped year over year. This is in 2024. This doesn't even include 2025 numbers. The reputation of the brand continues to fall. And sales data shows that even people that love their Tesla cars are starting to get sick of Musk's behavior. They're buying stickers like this. I bought this before Elon went crazy. And having quotes like this. I'm sort of embarrassed to be seen in that car now, said Miss Treb. I bought this before Elon went crazy. People are trying to signal that, hey, I don't know, I don't support necessarily all this behavior, even though I bought Tesla. Companies that compete with Tesla are even using this in their marketing. Kia tweeted this, or put this on Instagram, I think, putting a sticker on their new car, their new EV. Quotes like this. When he stood up and made that Sieg Heil Nazi salute, something clicked in my head and I thought, I cannot drive a Tesla. I don't care how affordable or fun they are. None of that mattered anymore. What used to be such a glamorous statement car, to me, actually became a really repulsive one. And whether you agree with this person or not, this is a customer. When you're a business, this customer matters. And this customer adds up. People that have Cybertrucks are putting no anti-Elon Musk stickers and buyer's remorse stickers. This guy, Dr. Kumate here, bought a gold-plated Tesla Cybertruck to advertise his business. that is cosmetic surgery. Now he wants to sell it because of all the backlash. This is a guy who was all in on the brand. And it's partially because people are getting negative feedback from those around him. This is on Reddit in R Boston. Someone put this on his windshield. Sell your car. And the Elon Musk Nazi salute. People don't want this to happen to them when they buy a Tesla car. Stickers are getting placed on cars that say, don't buy a swastika car. People don't want this to happen to their car. People walking around Europe are seeing billboards like this. Goes from 0 to 1939 in 3 seconds. And him Sieg Heiling. People don't want to drive their Tesla past this billboard. Now, Elon Musk will tell you that all of these protests and all of these anti-Tesla movements are being astroturfed by Democratic mega donors like George Soros. I think sales data would show that is not necessarily the case. And even if the vandalism and the protests are, I think, rightfully stopped by police, as is happening here in Chicago, people don't want to go through a police picket line to buy a car. They just don't want to do it. It's not, it suddenly makes them feel some type of way about the customer purchasing experience. Ross Gerber is certainly no ally of George Soros. Ross Gerber is a longtime Tesla pumper. He made a ton of money off Tesla and used to be one of the biggest Elon shills. He's recently been saying the bare facts because he's also an investor. Tesla cannot sell its cars due to Elon's behavior. Let's stop blaming other things or interest rates. Only one person is responsible for this. And what's more important than all of this is that we are in a deeply divided country. So you may say to yourself, well, everybody he pisses off on one side, he may gain on the other side. And for some products, that might be true. But some facts about EVs make that particularly hard to believe. If you guys had to guess what 10 states bought the highest amount of EVs and where they voted in the 2020 election, I'll give you a hint. It's these 10 states, and they all voted blue. They're all pretty deeply blue, okay? Now, if I were to tell you which states bought the least amount of EVs, it would be these 10 states, and they all voted Trump. You might be seeing a pattern. Courting Trump voters can be a fine business strategy for MyPillow or, I don't know, for a beer brand or something. But for an electric vehicle specifically, it's kind of a losing one because they don't want to leave gas-powered cars. The data's pretty stark on this. 55% of Republicans say there's no chance at all they consider buying any EV in the next decade. So it's an uphill battle. At the same time, let's say the 45% that are considering it, or the Democrats that aren't pissed off at Elon, well, they're coming into a certain time of a particularly dangerous economy. So politics aside, if Tesla was just a car company going into this 2025 year, they'd already be in trouble because as recession fears grow, late car payments have never been this high. It's the highest level since they began tracking the data. There have never been this many auto borrowers 60 days past due. People are not able to make their car payments as is, let alone able to buy brand new cars. Which might explain why Tesla, in desperation, is offering 0% down, 0% APR subprime loans to try and boost demand. But the problem is, even if this increases sales in the short term, many of these won't get paid. These are very dangerous loans to be giving out to an economy of people that probably can't pay them back. This is a desperate play for growth. Most people in this car market are just waiting. They're waiting to see. They primarily want used cars, and they primarily want the prices to go down. They're waiting. And if they buy a used car, they want something that'll hold its value, which is exactly the opposite of what's happening with Tesla. Used car prices for Teslas are crashing. Way down, even compared with other EVs. which again are not doing well themselves. At the same time, if you're a regular everyday consumer in America, one of the biggest things you worry about with your car is repair costs. Because losing access to your car can mean being unable to get to work. It's a massive unexplained expense. Repair costs for Tesla are higher than both gas cars and other EVs. And because Tesla locks down repairs and controls the entire supply chain top to bottom, you have to wait a long time. So there's a big problem for a regular consumer in getting a Tesla, even if you don't care about any of the politics stuff. And guess what? This might shock myself and many people in this audience, but America is not the only country in the world. They're not all like the US. Tesla sells most of its cars in these 10 countries. I'm blocking out one because we'll talk about it later. Maybe you can guess what it is. These 10 countries are primarily where Tesla makes its sales. US, Germany, France, Canada, UK, Australia, Norway, Denmark, and Sweden. Let's go through these countries. We've talked about the US already. We know what's happening there. Germany, 76% fall in sales. People are pissed about his meddling in the German elections, voting for the AfD or promoting the AfD. France, sales plunged 63%. They only had 1,000 new cars in France in January. They underperformed the overall industry and the EV segment. At the same time in France, they really don't fuck around when it comes to rioting. So they're not just having small protests in front of stores, they're lighting them on fire. 12 cars destroyed in arson in France. Okay, what about next? How about Canada? Canada, sales down 70%. Not only due to price hikes, but also loss of rebates, which is especially interesting. Rebates especially interesting because for some reason, right before the EV rebate disappeared in Canada, 4 Tesla stores reported selling 30 cars per hour. Essentially 1 car every minute, 24 hours a day for 3 straight days. Extremely suspicious. Because Tesla gets a kickback from the EV rebate, it's almost like they were faking sales right before the rebate ran out to get money from the Canadian government. Which is exactly what Canada TV News is reporting.
For Ottawa's rebate program on electric vehicles that allegedly prompted a mad rush to buy EVs. CTV's Adrian Gobriel has been crunching the numbers. And Adrian, do they add up?
Sandy, a spike in purchases was to be expected, though the reported sale of 8,600 Teslas equaling $43 million in rebates at 4 Canadian Tesla locations has sparked plenty of questions. In the west end of Toronto, this one Tesla location alone reported selling more than 1,200 vehicles on January 11th, totaling more than $4 million in rebates.
I can understand that in France, they're not even selling 1,200 vehicles total in the whole month. But in this one Canadian location, they're moving 1,200 units like in a day right before the rebate closes.
So we paid them a visit to try and get some clarity on the staggering number of sales.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good, good. My name's Adrian Gobriel. I'm a journalist with CTV News.
Okay.
There was a large increase in the number of sales processed through the EV rebate program. Just trying to get an understanding of perhaps what maybe some of the reasons were behind that. Did that take place, or is that a backlog of paperwork going through? You can't share any comments? Is there any manager you think that might be?
Because it kind of seems, again, this is allegedly, but it kind of seems like fraud against the Canadian government. It kind of seems like a way to channel stuff right at the end to make a little bit of money, especially for a company that's so reliant on rebates to make its annual profit goals. It's also suspicious that the sales went up so much in Canada at that store, given that 71% of Canadians support a total ban on Tesla altogether. 71%! That is people in the Conservative and the Liberal Party in Canada. Hundreds of thousands of them want Elon Musk's citizenship revoked. In the UK, 6th in this list, the UK, it is different. Tesla sales did rise in the UK. They were up 20.7% year on year in the UK, which is pretty impressive. 4,000 Teslas were sold in the country. Though part of it is the fact that the UK EV sales are up dramatically across the board. Basically, 1 in 4 new cars in the UK are now fully electric. They're making a massive EV transition. They have a lot of still active subsidies. People are buying EVs hand over fist. So it is part of it. And there is still things you can find in the UK that show that patience with him is running out. This is on the London Underground. Elon Musk's Perfume Day 1939 for wankers. But the UK is buying more Teslas. Australia is down 81%. Sweden and Norway are down 44 and 38 year over year. They buy a ton of EVs. They're buying less Teslas. Survey shows the opinion of Teslas are by Musk. Denmark down 52% in February. So if you add all this up, 8 of the 9 countries we showed are down year over year. UK is up. What about that last one, though? Did anyone guess what this last country is? That's right. That's right. It's
saying China, 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 China.
It's China. Okay? Probably the most important country in the world for the future EV battle. How is Tesla doing in China? It's been a steady source of growth for them for a long time. For a while, Tesla was pretty dominant in China. And it's worth noting that unlike every other country here, the people in China don't give a shit about Musk's politics. They don't care. Survey after survey shows reputation of Tesla has not been harmed by Elon's antics. They're not interested. They still think he's a cool tech guy. But that doesn't matter. The truth is, disappointing sales in China, and they are down 49%, are not because of his politics or caring about Elon at all. It's because of their narrow and dated lineup and up-to-date and more exciting offerings from BYD. Basically, they're just getting out-competed. Tesla is flaming in China, and the rapid rise of BYD is to blame. It's not because of a Sieg Heil. It's because of this. They're just getting little broed by the BYD Atto 3 and the BYD Seal. And these BYD products are promising a Tesla-level car, but built for the Chinese audience at a fraction of the price and sold within country. It's suddenly becoming a really dangerous spot for Tesla. And if only somebody exactly 5 years ago could have predicted in a Discord chat with Ludwig and Stans, if only someone in 2019 could have said this very day the Shanghai Gigafactory was announced, that China was going to prop up a competitor with government money and force Tesla out eventually within the next 5 years, well, maybe they've been right. Maybe they would have been right. And exactly 5 years after this post, BYD surpassed Tesla in 2024. Once they surpassed them, they have not let go. By 2025, it's not even close. Again, they are now like 10xing Tesla's domestic sales. They're selling more cars globally, but they're 10xing domestic sales. They're getting mogged in the country. Elon Musk's automaker Tesla has been backsliding in China for 5 consecutive months on a year-on-year basis, down 49% in February. It didn't sell this few vehicles since July 2022. The growth is not there. They're backsliding. At the same time, some of their future offerings about self-driving tech, well, those are getting mogged too. Because in a surprise announcement, BYD announced self-driving tech, basically the equivalent of Tesla's FSD, for free. If you buy a Tesla, you have to pay an extra 8-10 grand to upgrade to self-driving. BYD rolled it out to every make and model for free. Tesla responded by trying to roll theirs out in China, but immediately users that tried it were greeted with tons of tickets.
全部都处理完了。
This guy turned on his Tesla self-driving and got 7 tickets on one ride.
出现了5个违章，然后到这边调了一下监控，一共是7个违章。自行车道，自行车道，不要，大哥，这是自行车道。
It keeps driving into bike and bus lanes that it's not allowed to, and in China, the camera automatically detects it and flags you. So it's like instant punishment. It just keeps going in and out, charging you more money. This is problematic. You can't just apply the same FSD software you got from other countries in China. It has unique roads and lanes and signs. And BYD has accounted for that in their self-driving because it's built for China. So all of this picture adds up to a pretty negative one. Let's just add another down arrow here. Sales declining in 9 out of 10 countries where it makes basically all of its sales. Politics causing backlash. Competition causing sales problems. But all of these aren't even as big of a problem as this one. Math. Even if none of these were happening, there would still be a problem with math. Now, thankfully, it's not going to be this math because I'm a business major. It's going to be business major math, which looks more like this. Very, very simple. I can't do this, bro. That's for math guys. It's this. Price to earnings, very easy. Which I'll say it even simpler. A price earnings ratio is essentially what a company's worth by the market divided by how much it actually makes. Gives you a good idea of when you as an investor will get your money back. For most car companies, like for example, Ford, a PE ratio might be something like 5 to 10. Okay? Pretty much saying, hey, you're not a high growth company. I'll get my money back in about 5 to 10 years. Maybe a steady solid amount. I know basically where you're at as a business. For a high growth tech company, which might grow dramatically in the next few years, you can give them a PE ratio as high as 20 to 30. Apple sits at 35. But before I go through the PE ratio of some of these high tech companies, let me help you understand that maybe not all of the Magnificent Seven truly belong. Apple deserves this number, this 35, because they make $96 billion in profit a year. They're one of the greatest cash-generating geysers in human history. $96 billion in profit. Google made $100 billion in profit last year, a 35% increase. Of course they have a 20 to 30 PE ratio. They're growing and they have a ton of profit. Microsoft made $88 billion, a 21% increase. Meta made $62 billion, up from $39 billion, a big increase. Okay? These are all cash geysers, tens of billions of dollars of profit. Amazon made $59 billion, a 94% increase. Of course they have a high PE ratio. Nvidia has the highest of them all, 60, a PE ratio of 60, which is crazy, but they're up 144% year over year, $72 billion in profit. That's 6. What's the 7th? Tesla, last year, made $7 billion in profit. A 52% decrease. Not only are they going down in profit, but this amount isn't that much to begin with. It certainly doesn't qualify them to be up with all these trillion-dollar magnificent companies. And so if we go back to our simple price earnings ratio, what it's worth divided by what it makes, you might notice that Tesla, even after this recent downsizing, decline, 50% decline, even after this, Tesla's still worth $722 billion, and they made $7.13 billion. So if you do the very simple math here, you'll find out that Tesla's PE ratio is not 5 to 10. It's not 20 to 30. It's 101 still. It declined by 50%, and it's still astronomically high. The level of growth expectations baked into this fairly small company is fucking crazy. It's 101 today. And that leaves me to an important question that gets asked a lot. The question is, why are we not getting rid of Elon Musk as CEO? He's causing us all this reputational damage. Why not get rid of him? Let's look into it a little bit more. So if the PE's 101, we can ask ourselves, what would Tesla be worth without Elon Musk? What if it was valued like a normal car company or even like a normal tech company? Well, it turns out that math has been done in this article by Fortune, and I updated it for the new numbers. But essentially, Tesla's actual valuation, if you ran the numbers normally, if you just took what they make and gave it a normal PE ratio, would be $84 billion, which means a massive portion of their valuation, which is around 800 billion now, is just hype. It's just Elon Musk's ability to promise and promise and promise and promise and promise the future. Okay? Which means it's very hard for them to actually get rid of him. Because even though Tesla sales are down and they have to keep cutting prices and they're in a price war they can't win, third price cut this year, even though they're trying to unload inventory and it's bad news for investors, even though their profit per vehicle continues to tank, the car company is still worth $722 billion, where if it was valued normally, it would probably be closer to 84, 84 to 100. So there's still so much Elon Musk hype baked into this valuation. They can't get rid of him. Even as sales growth continues to slow, these questions can't have the answer people want. Name another company's board of directors that would let their stock slide $700 billion in value and take zero action on their CEO. This is absurd. Even Tesla employees say he's like a pigeon CEO. He comes in, shits all over us, and goes. But they can't get rid of him. Even though, since he bought Twitter, that every dot on this chart is a tweet. You'll notice in 2022, when he bought Twitter, it gets blood red. Even though he spends the vast majority of his day tweeting, they can't get rid of him. Because if they get rid of him, they're going to lose this much valuation from the company. And they know this. Inside man. Inside man or woman. The chairperson of the Tesla board, Robin Denholm, has been selling Tesla stock hand over fist. Every package she gets, she is dumping on the market because she knows this valuation cannot last. The Tesla CFO is selling hand over fist. Kimball Musk, Elon Musk's brother, is selling hand over fist. If you look at the insider sales of a normal tech company, let's say even a highly valued one, possibly overvalued one like NVIDIA, it looks like this. Basically, there's always more sold than bought because people get paid in shares, so they sell. There's some people buying, most are selling, overall like that. If you look at the insider activity of Tesla shares, you'll find zero purchases. Not a single Tesla executive is buying Tesla stock. Every single one of them is selling. Selling, consistently selling, including Elon Musk himself. They are dumping because they know that at the end of the day, the raw math of what this company actually earns does not give it a $700 or $800 billion valuation, let alone a $1.5 trillion, which it had just 3 months ago. And they are making sure they get out while the market is still inflated. Now, the reality of this company is far different from that inflated expectation. And Elon Musk, as much as he might pretend not to, he knows this. He's actually said it back before he was so cautious. Back in 2020, Elon Musk said, when looking at our actual profitability, it's very low. Investors are giving us a lot of credit for future profits, but if at any point they conclude that's not going to happen, our stock will immediately get crushed like a souffle under a sledgehammer. That's 100% true. If at any point the market realizes or decides they don't believe you about all this future stuff, this stock will collapse because it has no base value that makes it worth $700, $800 billion. And profitability is an interesting word because, again, as they keep cutting prices to try and stay competitive and show sales growth, the profit per vehicle continues to dwindle. It looks desperate. He has also said this.
But the overwhelming focus is solving full self-driving. So, yeah. And that's essential. And like that's really the difference between Tesla being worth a lot of money and being worth basically zero.
Yeah.
So
that's a pretty revealing statement. I don't think he even knew how revealing that was. He is basically openly saying, if we don't solve full self-driving, and by the way, this interview is years ago, our company's essentially worthless. Now, I think it's still worth $50, $100 billion. They sell cars. People like the cars. Some people do. But essentially zero compared to what it was valued at the time. And that brings me to what I think is happening. People wonder at the motivations between a lot of Elon's actions. Maybe some of it's the ketamine. But I think he has been quietly but steadily building an escape hatch. Let me explain why. I think he had a little bit of an idea going into government. Now, you guys may know this. Elon Musk was being hit with lawsuits and oversights and fines and complaints from a lot of government agencies. Transportation, Interior, Justice, Agriculture, Labor Relations, Equal Opportunity, Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, Securities Exchange Commission, the Defense, Federal Election Commission, the Office of Government Evidence. All of these institutions had something going on with Tesla's companies. Once he came into power, Doge wiped almost all these out. Fired them, neutered them, shut them down in the case of some of these. Okay? So he's cleared a lot of the legal problems off the plate of a lot of his companies. But still, that won't solve Tesla sales. He might be able to do some small things like get the Cybertruck eligible for the government EV tax credit. But for how long? Trump has not proven to be very friendly to EVs. The Trump administration has not been great for EVs. But what other of Elon's companies might be a lot better if you had a lot of power within government? Maybe Tesla's not super helpful, but what other one of these companies could get a lot of value from having a government insider? It's not this one. It's not this one. It's not this one. It's not this one. It's SpaceX. And one thing you might not know, some other math that's kind of inconvenient, is that Tesla, at an $800 billion valuation, is the biggest company Elon Musk's a part of. Sure. But he only owns 12%. SpaceX, he owns 42%. So if you actually do the math on Elon Musk's net worth today, not 5 years ago, but today, he makes a lot more from SpaceX than he does from Tesla. SpaceX is actually way more important to his bottom line than it is from Tesla. It's now worth more than his Tesla shares. And that might be why he's more and more saying publicly that he needs a bigger pay package from Tesla. He needs more shares and more voting control. I am uncomfortable growing Tesla to be a leader in AI and robotics without having 25% voting control. I don't want to be overturned. That's why he keeps asking for a $56 billion Tesla payday. That's why, even though he's spending a ton of money on big AI data centers for Grok, he's not doing them under the Tesla banner. Grok AI is under X.AI. It isn't owned by Tesla. None of the AI advancement is going, it'll be used by Tesla, but Tesla doesn't own it. He's been quietly, slowly but surely, getting all of his future growth stuff out of Tesla, where he has a much higher ownership percentage. And as the wheels literally come off of Tesla, he is setting himself up to still be mega rich through SpaceX. Elon Musk's Starlink under SpaceX is getting massive government contracts. He's gotten massive NASA contracts. They call him a walking conflict of interest. Everything he does in the government is beneficial to SpaceX. Even using his government connections to talk to other foreign leaders. Again, they just got a $1.6 billion telecom security deal with Italy. This type of power with a company he controls a lot more of and is also private instead of public, so he can retain control. That's an answer to, doesn't have to answer shareholders. Answer to shareholders. Sorry, I'm having a stroke. Means that SpaceX is actually way more valuable to Elon Musk than Tesla ever was. He had a $90 million contract for free internet in Mexico. It's also because it's private. Chinese investors can privately take stakes in his companies without having to disclose. He can hide who he's doing business with. Whereas with Tesla, it's public. With SpaceX, you can give him a ton of money for a favor, and it's totally off the grid. Which might explain why he's been so adamant that Taiwan is a part of China, right as Chinese investors take massive private stakes in SpaceX. All of this adds up to a unique picture of a guy that seemingly is caring less and less about his baby. Well, not his actual 14 children, but his corporate baby. People seem to think Tesla is so important to Elon Musk's bottom line, but actually he's kind of made sure that it isn't. Promises. Now, where does that leave us going forward for Tesla as an investor, if you're thinking about investing in Tesla? Well, what you have right now is declining car sales growth and a lot of promises. But how much are these promises worth? I know some of them in the past.
Franz, could you try to break this glass, please? Yeah. Sure? Yeah. Oh my fucking God. Well, maybe that was a little too hard. Franz, could you try to break this glass, please?
Wrong one. This one.
A Tesla car next year will probably be 90% capable of autopilot. So 90% of your miles could be on auto.
We're probably only a month away from having autonomous driving, at least for highways and for relatively simple roads. The Model S and Model X at this point can drive autonomously with greater safety than a person right now. We're still on track for being able to go cross-country from LA to New York by the end of the year, fully autonomous.
End of the year.
For sure. We will have over 1 million robo-taxis on the road.
Next year, for sure. For sure. 2019.
I'm extremely confident of achieving full autonomy and releasing it to the Tesla customer base next year.
When do you think Tesla will solve level 4 FSD?
I mean, it's looking quite likely that it will be next year.
These promises worked for a really long time. And for some people, they still do. But investors are slowly but surely, politics aside, just not believing him so much anymore. And the lies, let's say promises, are getting more and more grandiose to compensate. Whereas before he would just say, we have a great product coming next year, in air quotes. He's now openly talking about the stock price and saying, we might have 1,000% gain in the next 5 years. This is like from 5 days ago, 10 days ago. He said we're going to have 1,000% gain for Tesla in 5 years. Even Wall Street Bets is calling it cope. It just doesn't sound, it sounds like a made up number. It's ridiculous. On the recent Tesla earnings call, which I think we might have watched it live, but he said the following. This is the most recent Tesla earnings call.
And I've said this before, and I'll stand by it. I see a path. I'm not saying it's an easy path, but I see a path to Tesla being the most valuable company in the world by far. Not even close. maybe several times more than. I mean, there is a path where Tesla is worth more than the next top 5 companies combined. There's a path to that.
What path to being a $30+ trillion company? Bigger than Apple, Microsoft, Google, Nvidia, Meta combined? It's delusional levels of stock pumping, and it's not working as well as it used to. It just isn't clicking. The magic isn't, the rabbit out of the hat was cool the first 20 times, but it's just not hitting with the buyers of the stock the way it used to be. And so the only real concrete promises you're left with are around robo-taxis and robots. These are the last 2 cards they have in their sleeve. This is the last thing the market is waiting on. These need to come out soon and make a ton of money. He says robotaxis in the future, experts have doubts. They might come out, maybe. They might make some money, but will they make the billions and billions of dollars quickly that the company needs to even justify its current valuation, let alone grow, without having any legal troubles? Again, this is Ross Gerber again. When will the government allow FSD robotaxis to operate alongside human drivers? Who's liable for the accidents? Who will buy and operate them? Will they even make money, or will they become a commodity? How will competition with Waymo drive prices up or down? Waymo, by the way, is currently ahead in this space. And for robots, it looks like the tech really isn't there at all right now. It seems like a really out there kind of promise. Again, robotaxis were promised to be out next year in 2019. So forgive me if I don't believe they're going to be out next year right now. And if they are, will they be totally ready to make real mass market impact? Now with the robots, again, he's just saying everyone's going to want one. Everyone in the world will have one. They'll outnumber humans. I mean, this part was really crazy. He said we could make $1 trillion a year in profit from Optimus robots. There could be 10 to 30 billion robots worldwide. There'll be a 2-to-1 ratio. Is any of this anywhere close to fruition? Is this just a guy on ketamine talking? Is there any hard math behind these numbers, or are you just saying what you want investors to hear to keep the stock up? I think before, a lot of people would say, I believe him. And I think now people are saying, wait a minute, maybe I don't. The optimism may be misplaced. Especially after what has turned out to be quite a massive debacle with the only recent product they've announced, which was the Cybertrucks, which despite arriving late, were still rushed out. They malfunctioned at an astounding rate. They had delivery problems. They rusted. They're having corrosion. They're having returns. And now they hide the individual sales numbers, but they're piling up on the lot. They're just not selling at the rate they thought they would. So all of this combines, and I say, what now? Where do we go from Tesla? Not about Elon, where does Tesla go from here? First of all, politically, I haven't seen this much backlash on a company, maybe ever. It's a coordinated global boycott / denouncing / the most recent example that's anywhere close is the Bud Light boycott by conservatives in America. Again, it's kind of America only. That was because of the Dylan Mulvaney transgender Instagram post. But this is it's a stupid reason, but even this is such a smaller thing, and Bud Light, cowardly or not, immediately backtracked. Tesla, to the other side, has done so much more for so much longer with no signs of slowing down. Again, Bud Light backtracked and had a fucking Shane Gillis out within a year, right? I don't think the brand is recoverable among like Europeans and Democrats, which again is like a large part of the EV buying audience. I sincerely believe that unless there's such a massive tech advantage that people have to buy it, it feels like the brand is kind of poison, which makes it very hard to see the sales growth you want. By the way, Bud Light, despite being a much smaller controversy and lasting for much less time and only being in one country, still hasn't recovered. I can't imagine the amount of damage that's happening to Tesla right now. Now, there are attempts to rectify it. Donald Trump stepped in yesterday, and said on Truth Social to Republicans, conservatives, and all great Americans, Elon Musk is putting it on the line in order to help our nation, and he's doing a fantastic job. But the radical left lunatics, as they often do, are trying to illegally and collusively boycott Tesla. Now, I would say vandalism is illegal, but boycotting is not illegal. You can't force someone. You can't force someone to buy a Tesla, at least under current law. One of the world's great automakers and Elon's baby, in order to attack and do harm to Elon and everything he stands for. They tried to do it to me at the 2024 presidential ballot box, and how did that work out? In any event, I'm going to buy a brand new Tesla tomorrow morning as a show of confidence and support for Elon Musk, a truly great American. Why should he be punished for putting his tremendous skills to work in order to help make America great again? Trump is in his corner. Trump followed through on his promise. Good to his word. On the White House lawn.
Trump, are you looking to buy or lease today?
Well, I'm going to buy, and I'm going to buy because, number one, it's a great product, as good as it gets, and number two, because this man has devoted his energy and his life to doing this. I think he's been treated very unfairly by a very small group of people, and I just want people to know that you can't be penalized for being a patriot, and he's a great patriot.
So they had a Tesla auto show at the White House with, I'm not kidding, a presidential ad read. This is Donald Trump's actual notes where he listed off the sales prices of different Tesla cars. This is like what I get for Huel. But I don't think this changes much. While this may make some conservatives more endeared to Elon, I don't think they're going to change their buying habits around EVs, nor will more chargers suddenly spring up in their neighborhoods. These efforts could simply continue the backlash by making it a more politically aligned company. And I think Elon is starting to understand this.
Yeah.
You giving up your other stuff? I mean, how are you running your other businesses?
With great difficulty. Yeah, I mean.
But there's no turning back, you're saying?
I'm just here trying to make government more efficient, eliminate waste and fraud, and so far we're making good progress, actually. So
he looks like he's about to cry. I feel for him, you know. Heartfelt thanks to everyone supporting Tesla, despite many tax conservative. I just don't think this is going to turn the tides on the sales. However, based on this, betting markets are seeing rising odds that Elon Musk might leave the White House this year in response to increasing downturns at all of his companies. Outside of SpaceX, which can benefit from his Doge connections, everything else is getting hammered. And given that so many of his Twitter problems are backed up with Tesla loans, if that falls, the whole house of cards can be in trouble. So we may see an about face from Elon Musk this year. But there's one final point that's worth talking about. Elon Musk, regardless of all this, is going to be fine. If Tesla went to zero, he'll be fine. He has SpaceX. He has government connections. He's a billionaire probably till the day he dies. He's connected. He's rich. He has many different ventures. Who else has been buying Tesla stock hand over fist for the past 5 years as it now hits the skids? it turns out pretty much every American, not just Wall Street Bets memers, pretty much every American with a 401k has been buying millions of shares of Tesla passively because it has such a big market cap weight in the S&P 500. Every ETF has been buying Tesla stock over and over and over at unsustainable highs. These problems aren't just Tesla's problems. As Elon Musk runs this company down and leaves without caring, like another child of his, the average 401k American is left holding the bag. People are losing. This is dragging down the performance of everyone's retirement. And finally, I have to say, before you go and take this presentation and say, I'm going to short Tesla, understand you're not the only one with this idea. When a company drops $800 billion in value in 3 months, people jump on the idea of shorting the company or buying puts. And once the idea gets too popular, a short squeeze is very easy. Nobody knows what will happen in the short term to any stock price. Please do not risk your savings when one tweet from Trump or one announcement from Elon could spike it up at least somewhat and ruin all of your bets. Okay? All I would say is, over the long run, unless you firmly believe that we're going to have a Tesla robot in every home and a robotaxi driving on every street, this company is not worth what it says it is. And that's going to become very apparent sooner rather than later. Thanks for watching Marketing Monday. We'll have more next week. Okay, hope you enjoyed. 206 slides. Jesus Christ, my biggest one yet, I think. My biggest one yet. Lots in there. Lots in there. Can you start it from the beginning? I missed one slide. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed. If you want to hear more about it, I will be having a quote-unquote debate with Doug on the Lemonade Stand podcast coming out on Thursday, where we talk about the future of Tesla. And we will present, different ideas about where it's heading. But what I tried to do is, I think it's impossible to separate politics from performance when it comes to Tesla, because Democrats are such big buyers of EVs and he's pissing them all off. It's impossible to take it out. But I tried to show that outside, even if he didn't do that at all, even if Elon Musk was still as popular as he was in the Tony Stark era, it wouldn't matter. The company isn't selling enough cars in general. It's just not. My whole point was like, there's deeper problems here. This company has some rot at its core. And with Chinese EVs, my dad said, thanks, Atrioc. He said, good job. All right, let him go to bed. Let the old man go to bed. Sorry if it was a little long for him. What about this guy thinks he's going to save Tesla? Micro to Macro tweeted, I just bought 3 Teslas in the last month to support Elon Musk, and I'm hearing tons of stories like this. How demoralizing will it be for Tesla shorts if we crush sales for Q1 and the utter chaos that's been displayed from left lunatics? That would really surprise me. That would really surprise me. Although I will say this. Listen, I'm not kidding. It would not shock me if Tesla saw a sales spike in this next quarter. Largely because, listen, I had an Uber driver tell me about this, and I looked up and it was true. They really are offering 0% down, 0% APR, 0% interest. You can get a Tesla for essentially free. So of course they can say, oh, we have a ton of sales. It's like for what, 58 months or something? It's like crazy. It's a crazy deal. It's like a real desperate deal. I had probably, one of the most lunatic Uber drivers I've ever had. He told me that just unprompted. He was like, yeah, I'm probably going to get a Tesla. You can get an insane deal. I don't have to put any money down. My credit's terrible. Again, this sounds fake. This is 100% a real story. He told me his credit was terrible and that he was going to get a Tesla. He also told me that the biggest problem in America was men fighting in women's sports. He had a lot to say about that too. But he told me his credit was terrible, and he told me that he could get a Tesla for super cheap. And I was like, there's just no way it's 0-0. And I looked it up and it is. So they may have a sales spike, but with level of defaults being what they are, you know what I'm saying? Like, Tesla could have big problems on payments. People just might not pay. They might give it to a lot of subprime borrowers that can't afford it, and then they have to do, fucking repos. This could be a real problem. So, yeah, I don't know. I think I don't short any company because it's too risky, but that would be one of the biggest risks to shorting Tesla is that they show some sales growth. It spikes back up a little bit. Your short get wipes out. And then over time, we realize that these are all subprime loans. More content for the Repo Reaper? Exactly. Exactly. My brother's a huge Tesla lover, and he really believes in the car/FSD potential. Well, I'm going to talk about this on the podcast. I don't want to go too into FSD because it's going to be a big subject. I disagree, but I'll talk about it. Isn't it low-key a good thing that MAGA are buying EVs? Yeah, listen, I'm trying to approach this from the business angle. I don't really fuck with Elon. Actually, I don't fuck with Elon Musk at all, to be honest with you. But like, I don't really fuck with Jeff Bezos, but I own Amazon stock. You know what I'm saying? It's not about that. What I'm saying is I think the company is like extremely, extremely overvalued. So if I thought that enough conservatives would buy Tesla to get the sales spiking back up and get it on a growth trajectory, then I'd be like, okay, that's an investment thesis. Maybe I buy Tesla stock. But I don't believe that. It's not that I think it's I'm not making a good or bad judgment. I'm telling you that I don't believe they'll do that. I don't think people in Alabama or Florida or whatever are going to buy enough Teslas to make up for the losses in California and Colorado. And I just don't believe it. I don't believe it. I think they want gas cars there. Trying to explain how Tesla stock value is inflated due to bogus, similar to meme stocks. It's not similar to AMC and GME. It's not like that. It's more like Tesla is a real company that makes real billions of dollars of profit selling real cars. But by any normal valuation multiple, they should be worth like $80 to $150 billion as a company, somewhere around there. They're much better than Ford, much better than they sell cars. They have growth. They had growth. They don't have growth anymore. But when you give them 100 PE ratio, you're saying they have astronomical growth, and they don't, which means you're basically relying on stuff that isn't out yet to do incredibly well off rip. It's just a lot of hopium. It's a lot of hopium. Ford would be better if it was called Fard. Thoughts? That's a really insightful point. I do think Ford is due for a shakeup. If they changed their name to Fard, and every time you turned the engine on, it made a fart sound, they could actually, that would get people talking. For sure. That would get people talking. Did you see Elon Musk's response to the Polish Minister of Defense when he warned they may seek alternative Starlink? I did see this. So this is part of my thesis. You saw Elon Musk get so fucking mad at the Polish minister for saying he's going to think about different alternative to Starlink. Because Starlink is where Elon's money really is. He actually can deal with a loss of Tesla. But if governments around the world start doing alternatives to Starlink, that's when he's fucked. Because right now he has these sick, juicy government contracts from all over the globe. He's getting money from Ukraine. He's getting money from everywhere. He's getting money from NASA. He's getting money from all these different government agencies, and it's all to Starlink. The Pentagon is paying Starlink like $1 billion for surveillance. Starlink is his juicy, and he owns so much of it, and it's private. He really cares about that more than anything. It's been under the radar, but that's what he really cares about. And so if governments start cutting him off there, that'll actually hurt his bottom line. Way more than Tesla shares going down will. Do you think that Tesla's cooking the books? A lot of people have said this. Many people have said that Tesla's sales numbers in certain quarters don't make sense. And they may have been running a little bit of a grift on some of these numbers. It's impossible to say. I have no idea. As a big public company, I'd like to think they didn't, but so was Enron. This Canadian one seems like obvious fraud, but that could just be the local Canada division under pressure to hit sales targets. They're lying. I can't say. I really have no idea. It's not a Carvana situation where I'm confident they're grifting. I don't know. Tesla cars get bought and sold for real all the time. That being said, so much of the actual profit they make is from EV credits or from carbon credits. Here's an example. Like in Europe, every company has to have a certain amount of carbon emissions. And if they're over that, they have to buy carbon credits. Every time Tesla sells a car in Europe, they get carbon credits, and then they sell those to like Volkswagen and BMW and all these like diesel-powered all these gas-powered cars. A lot of Tesla's profits in Europe come from the carbon credits more than the car sales. However, lately, the carbon credits are down so much because the sales are down so much in Europe, they can't even get them. Like, they don't have enough credits to sell to VW. VW has to get it from elsewhere. And I think they're getting rid of the whole project altogether. So there's just a lot of problems. There's like no near-term good things for Tesla and a lot of near-term bad. Shouldn't the board prioritize growth over stock price and fire him anyway? They are worried if they fire Elon Musk, the stock will crater to what it's actually worth, which is like $100 billion. So that's a 75, 80% drop. And then all of their stock package they're trying to unload right now will be worthless. That's what they're worried about. That's why they're unloading it. Maybe after they've finished dumping all their bags in the public, somebody will get a new CEO and they can build back better. They can start back at 100 billion and try to actually innovate. Maybe. That's not unrealistic. But for now, Tesla shareholders can't stomach the loss of the Elon Musk hype factor. Because even though it's diminished, it's still really strong. You see the Trump Tesla ad in front of the White House today? Yeah, man, we talked about it 3.5 minutes ago, right here on this channel. we showed it, showed a video, showed the footage, discussed the whole thing. But you have just showed up, and I appreciate that. What do you think the market cap of the robotics industry will be in a few years? And how much would Tesla actually be in it? Here's the thing. I have no fucking idea. And despite what Elon Musk says, I don't think he does either. Nobody knows how many robots people will actually buy, how good they'll be in actual use cases. It's like getting high and just speculating. You know what I'm saying? It's just fucking weed smoke. It's just like, yeah, man, we'll sell 1 trillion of these. Who knows? it's just crazy to have so much of that baked into your stock price. Like it's baked in right now. If the stock stayed flat, it is baking in that robotaxis and robots are amazingly successful. like hugely, multiple billions of profit a year successful. I don't buy that. I think they're gonna have problems. What are your thoughts on the Canadian political situation? I saw Carney's speech. Carney replaced Justin Trudeau as the head of the Liberals in Canada. I saw his speech. It was so fucking Canadian, dude. He was like, and we're going to show those Americans a thing or two about how to play some hockey. I'm not kidding. He said this. He literally said this. But people seem to like him. I still remain, I'm sticking to my prediction that Pierre Poilievre will win, but it'll be closer. It'll be closer. It'll be closer than it was under Trudeau. The patriotism thing is definitely changing things. Are they really planning on selling off USD bonds? What's the impact of that in any? They said an undisclosed amount. I don't know how much they'll actually do. Canada's not a major holder. The big bond sellers are the big exporting nations. So like China. China selling US bonds is problematic. Japan. The plan, this is almost too in-depth for today. I want to talk about the Trump administration possibly destroying the stock market to get the yield down on government bonds so the government can roll over its debt. But I feel like I have to draw some graphs and some charts, and it's going to be too in-depth. And I think it's going to be... So I'll do it tomorrow. We'll do it tomorrow. I think we're going to watch House today. I also feel like Chad has had enough talk about business. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you can feel the classroom getting restless. Sometimes you can feel the classroom getting restless. They want to say glizzy. They want to say... And I think I did fucking 2 hours of... Can't wait for the podcast. Yeah, again, new podcast episode on Thursday. Tucker Carlson is furious, coping and seething that we're beating him in the Spotify playlist. Should be really fun. If I beat Doug in the debate, Aiden will eat an entire lemon live, whole, with the skin and all. Philly, thank you for the 5 gifted. Much appreciated. Oh, I also ratioed Andrew Yang. This guy was a candidate for president. He got votes. He said, sometimes it happens slowly, and then quickly. And I said, keep up, Yang. And tweeted my video from 6 months ago. And I ratioed his ass. Get fucked, Yang Gang. UBI is my thing now. That's how it works. I get UBI. But there's one difference. I'm sorry. I need to clarify. There's one difference. It's UBI for content creators. So every streamer, even if they take a day off or they stop uploading, they still get the same amount of income. The government provides it. So like if I don't want to do Marketing Monday this week, I get paid like I did do Marketing Monday. That way I can get more days off. It'll be good for the economy. It's not really UBI, it's you buy Twitch subs. And don't cancel them. That's what it is. Anyway, thank you for the sub, Tanner1230 and Krispy Kremer and Dolores Stroke and JW Blau. Thanks everybody for tuning in. I think what we're going to do now is what we do at the end of many days is relax, put the lights down low, and then collectively watch an episode of House MD with chat.